Well, welcome back, boys. Got a good old HoI 4 stream once again, and it's not fucking TNO for the first time in... Well, let's see, we played Make America again for the 4th of July, but other than that, non-TNO content for almost a fucking year. My god. That was, it's been a while since I've hopped into Kaiserreich. I think it was a HoI 4 mod I first started out with, and I have a soft spot in it. So, here we are. I believe a new update came out, Forest Brothers. I think we can click to see the patch notes. There we go. So, expand to see that. Okay, let's see. It has its own implementation of player-led peace conferences in the state transfer tool. Oh, okay. That's pretty cool. Download supplies with base game mods reduced to 50%. Oh. So they have new focuses for Estonia, Latvia, and fucking Wales, of all places. And then they add stuff for Bhutan, Lithuania, and White Ruthenia. Interesting. Interesting indeed. Well, we're not going to be playing as any of those countries today. No, I'm not playing Wales. Fuck that. I'm not playing fucking Wales. I'm playing Bhutan. No. So, it's been a hot minute. Damn, Lithuania looking thick. God damn. But, yeah, we're going to be playing as Romania. I think I announced it a while back that I was, going to be playing them anyway. I have thumbnails made up anyway. So, Lithuania is as good as a time as any. Historical AI, please disable. This features wholly unusing Kaiserreich, but having enabled cause AI issues. So, I think you could just remove. They could just remove this if they wanted to, but I guess they're not going to. Which, fair enough. Do I want to mess around with any of this? I don't know if I do. Just taking a look. Oh, this is pretty neat. I like it. Anyway, so, we're going to go ahead. Hop in. We can go to the east. Omsk, one was Grand Passionary, took the west. I'm scared. Ooh. Sounds like some wild stuff. So we're gonna go ahead and load on in, boys. Any second now. TikTok. Novosibirsk. Alright, I'll continue. Alright. Kaiserreich team proudly presents Kaiserreich beta version 0.18. Forest Brothers. Very, very nice. So, here we are. Romania. We start off led by Carol II, who's a determined autocrat. Back when he was just a crown prince, Carol II of Romania would have seemed like a most unfit person to take the throne of Romania, as shown by the Zizi Lambrino incident in the closing days of Weltkrieg. His country's loss, however, hit hard, and as he saw the malaise his future kingdom had fallen, he swore to remake the country into that which it was supposed to be. An autocratic charmer par excellence, he used the small but rising legionary movement as a sledgehammer to further weaken the declining PNL and the legionaries' old rivals, the National Christian Defense League. Now, however, the scheming king faces one last hurdle in his path towards redeeming his country, the very same legionary movement he once supported, and its shadowy captain, Corneliu Zeliac Odrianu. As clouds gather on the horizon of the post-Weltkrieg order, both the king and captain foresee opportunities to achieve their goals of national unification and breaking the other's power, And the king, though a flawed man, will act upon any opportunities that come his way to establish himself as his country's uncontested son. Shame we didn't play. It is not a shame we didn't play the Brony mod. That is not a shame at all. I don't know what you're talking about. So, what we have going on. We have the great game. The king and the captain are playing a great game, and at stake is everything. The future of all of Romania. For now, the pair is evenly matched in power, which makes every important decision a question of compromise. Then we have incomplete land reform. The legionary land reform of 1934 never quite ended, but rather was put on hold due to pressure of the monarchy. The captain, however, has not given up on the idea. Then we have unionist zeal. One of the few unifying threads between Carol II and Codron is the desire to bring the Romanian people under a single banner. Whether out of pan-Romanianism or a desire for glory, Romanian politics, at least for the moment, is focused on this grand goal. Finally, we have German economic hegemony. According to the Treaty of Bucharest, large parts of Romanian industry and resources are under control of German-Austrian corporations. The most important of these is the Oil Land Leasehold Company, LDT, which operates the Ploieț oil fields under German ownership. Additionally, these corporations own large parts of Romanian railway networks, effectively dragging down development of the Romanian industry. The Ploieț oil fields remain in German control. For now. We'll see how long they do. This chat's going quite crazy. Stirs around much content, how gently polishes it. Yeah. Was stand with Russia or against Savinkov? I'm not sure yet. Well, we ought to see what path Russia takes in the first place anyway. All I know is that we need... Our big thing right now is we need to take our rightful land back. So, first step in that is beating up Bulgaria. Sorry to the Bulgarian man in my Discord who changes his name all the time. We're gonna have to beat the shit out of your country. Get these two provinces back. From there, we need to wait for the right time to go after the Austrians and kick their ass. Take back these bits of Hungary. Take back these bits of Poland. Maybe even go into these bits of Ukraine. We have time. We gotta figure it out. Who are you kidding? It'll be Savinkov Russia. It probably will. It probably will be. We'll have to wait and see. That's who to just use chemical weapons. They have a couple options, but I think it is possible for them at that point to declare war on the U.S. the Pact. God, I'm playing Kaiserreich. I still can't escape TNO in my fucking chat. Damn it. It's not that big a deal. It's just kind of funny. We'll go ahead, build up some civilian industry. Got some free military factories. We'll go ahead and get working on... Let's see what we got. We'll do support equipment. That'll probably be good. You can never escape, Doc. I guess not. Shit. Alright, well, let's get a field marshal going. Let's get Petre Dumitrescu. Apologies to any Romanians who may be watching this either on stream or when I upload this onto YouTube. I don't know how to pronounce your language, and I apologize for that. Let's go ahead and get Constantine Constantinescu Claps. I can pronounce that last one pretty well. Same dude with what I call the Yakuza. Anything related to Tino will never be flooded with Tino fans. True. I did find... Yeah, I mean, I know all of you know me from Tino. I just figured you guys have something else you could watch. So, this is the tree that we got. We got a military tree. We got maneuvering in the Carpathians, where we decide between the king or the captain. We have our economic crash tree, which we'll have to get to sooner rather than later. And then after, I believe, we own Transylvania, this is where shit starts to hit. So we either go with the legionaries, we go with the king exclusively, or we get Mikhail in charge and restore elections. Dude, have you not seen the... I have seen those memes. I do know what you're talking about. And now we've gone from TNO to Mommy Vampire from Resident Evil. Oh, chat. You guys are insane. I love you. We all are wild. Anyway. So, probably go ahead and set a focus. So I'm going to go ahead. See, that's going to take 49 days. This will take 42 days. Let's do some maneuvers in Carpathians. Carpathian Mountains split the people of Romania in two. Half living within our nation, the other half under the oppressive boot of Hungarian rule. Article 11 of the Treaty of Bucharest further ceded the passes and surrounding strategic territory to Austria-Hungary, but we know one day these lands will be reclaimed. Large-scale maneuvers on the border will demonstrate our commitment to our co-ethnics. There we go. Well, one more thing before we start. I'll get ready to get going, but we have the Great Game, just Romania's neat little mechanic. There are two men in charge of Romania, and the only thing that unites them is their wish to see their country unified with Transylvania. Until then, King Carol II and conductor Codreanu will uphold their truce. For now, the balance of power is equal, and both sides are keeping each other in check. But will that be the case for now? For long? It's the case for now. What the fuck am I talking about? Will it be the case for long? Until then, can I, let's get some music going. I got the Kaiserreich radio sub-mod added to get the radio station going. So, there you go, boys. Here we go. How are our units looking? We don't have any 20 wits. I'll have to make those on my own, I guess. But we'll get that. Right, they have the new mechanic here. Maximum supported divisions. Right. So we're going to have to worry about that. But for now, troop orders are easy. We just literally put them on the border of Bulgaria. Let's see. The Kingdom of Romania was still a relatively young country when it joined the Weltkrieg in 1916, with grand ambitions taking Transylvania from the Hungarians, a dream that remains unrealized to this day. Despite some initial successes in 1916, the small country was quickly overwhelmed by German, Austrian, and Bulgarian troops. Against all odds, the Romanian army did not break and instead established new positions around Iasi. With the help of the Russians and French, they rebuilt their strength and repelled the Central Powers again and again. The end only came when the Russian Revolution and the collapse of the Eastern Front made Romania's position untenable. Many young men had died for an ideal that ultimately proved just out of reach, and the situation of the country itself had improved for naught. But Treaty of Bucharest was bitter, even more so because the Romanian army had fought well. With this, the stab-in-the-back narrative emerged. Romania was betrayed by the Russians. They were left alone by the Western Entente. They were sabotaged from the inside by traitors minorities such as Jews. Radical movements rose quickly, fueled by bitterness, revanchism, and social issues such as unequal land use. By 1936, the strongest of those movements is the Legion of the Archangel Michael, popularly known as the Legionary Movement, led by the young and charismatic Corneliu Codreanu, the captain of the Iron Guard. In 1927, King Ferdinand passed away and was succeeded by his son, Carol II. Even though Carol had a reputation for being quite the womanizer, the war had really left its mark on the king. His dream is clear, to succeed in where his father had failed. In this quest, the king found an ally equally driven and struck a deal with Codreanu. Two men united their revanches further, tore apart the democratic system in 1933 elections. After the assassination of Prime Minister I.G. Duca by the Iron Guard, Codreanu formed the first legionary government, the first step towards Greater Romania. While the king and the captain might be allies in a revanchist project, it's clear they ultimately do not wish to share power. The so-called Great Game between these two men began quickly after elections after Codreanu started his ambitious land reform, an issue very popular among his base. Influential landowners appealed to the king, who in turn forced Codreanu to halt his reforms. With the growing enmity between the two men, the power struggle can only get more fierce, with neither one really ready to give up power. As long as they share the common goal of Greater Romania, they will work together, but after that, only God knows. See, isn't Transylvania always been majority Hungarian population? It depends on which parts. Ironically, the places closer, from my understanding, places closer to Romania, or Hungary in modern time, have more Romanians than Hungarians. It's only in like areas like this where you have a lot of Hungarians. Kind of weird how that works, but... So let's figure out how this great game works before we go any further. There's an additional resource used by both Codrianu and the King, influence. New laws and policies require approval of both the legionary-controlled assembly and the King. This forces both parties to make concessions to drive their own agenda. After completing either focus, entrench party control, or lay the seeds for the Camarilla, you will unlock a set of decisions to interact with the system from either Codrianu's or from Carol's point of view. The decision of the political path is a decision to pick a side. If you manage to keep that side in power after unification, your nation will be stronger than if it changes control. In addition to the decisions, influence is gained from the political branch of a focus tree is primarily spent on the land reform branch, which requires influence to advance. But where? Your opponent also has their own influence, which gives them more power, enabling many events not necessarily in your advantage. Let's see, question, boys. I'm gonna bet on the heat death of universe, Mannerheim. I'd bet on that before Toolbox Theory. Sure as I'll bet that before Hungary gets rid of Tree. So, yeah. Let's actually, play for more than 4 hours. 4 in-game hours. I'll go change it to, the exonyms, too. As the year 1936 begins, the struggle between the nation's two competing leaders, Carol II and Prime Minister Codrianu, is entering a new phase. Deadlocked for some time, the two are running out of space to maneuver around each other. With growing frequency, they are starting to collide head-on. It's becoming increasingly difficult to maintain the facade of cooperation. Stands, the king and the captain, are both realizing that the time to take each other out for good is approaching. As the two personalities start to clash, people will be increasingly forced to pick a side or face the consequences of neutrality alone. So, we have a choice between Carol and Codrianu. I'm thinking Carol, personally. Yeah, I think we'll go with Carol. We might change that later on, but we'll stick with Carol for now. And we get the point of view from the Camarilla, which is interesting. We go in full wholesome Democrat. Need some... We might. We'll figure that out as we go along. Oh, there goes Kerensky. I'm going to keep my eye and see how Russia turns out. It looks like they've actually... Looks like democracy might actually be holding on for now, which is interesting. Compromise with the guard, but I don't know if we want to do that. Let's see. I think the thing changed. The legionary movement might hold all important government functions, but Carol II is still the king. There are many who would prefer a strong monarch over the populist cult of Codrianu. We cannot yet risk open conflict with legionaries, but after our foreign enemies have been conquered, all bets are off. So we'll wait and see what happens with Russia. Union Day represents the union of the Principalities Moldavia and Wallachia on the 24th of January 1859, when Alexandru Ion Cuza was elected as dominator in both principalities as a way to bypass the ruling that the two cannot unite in a single state. It is regarded as a national holiday in Romania. Everything for the fatherland. A nice extra 10 political power that might be very important coming up. Oh yeah, so far it looks like the Republic is hanging on, I want to say. Black Monday, Travelers. Oh shit! What the fuck happened there? Yep, so much for democracy. Oh, Russia. Poland declares a republic. Well, we still got some time to figure out what we're doing. I'm going to wait a few days until we select a new focus. There we go. Today was a dreadful day for stock markets in Bucharest, as many important banks and corporations went into a nosedive after the chain reaction that began with a crash of the Berlin stock market. Many businesses in Romania have been owned by large German and Austrian corporations, which are now in ruins. The unemployment rate has climbed sky high, and the export sector has been hit bad after demand for oil and agricultural products in Central Europe has plummeted. Even now they find ways to torment us. Well, that now gives us a chance to do the nationalization of foreign assets. So let's do it. The Treaty of Bucharest put significant economic assets under the joint control of Romania and the former Central Powers, or directly in foreign hands. Black Monday has, however, ruined German economic hegemony, and many of their assets in Romania are filing for bankruptcy. Now's the time to put them back in the hands of the state and its people to retake control of our own economy. Let's do it then. See, we could sow discontent among the legionaries, but that'll screw up our stability. Let's see, we have to complete prosperity for all, which we'll have to get all the way down there. So we'll have to really get working on this, it seems. Well, you know, good luck with that, Finland. Apparently, Frederick Karl is humble. You know, whenever someone says they're humble, they're usually not humble, so I don't know how much I trust that. Then we got Kornilov. I don't think it's very long for the world, and then Rykov. Ooh, I know that's something new over there. I think. Plutarco. Ooh, shit. I think that's totalism there. That's totalism in Mexico. Yeah. Okay. It's a good game for the totalists so far. Okay. As German banks collapsed, so did the German corporations owning large parts of Romanian oil industries. The export-based economies of Romania crashed hard after the demand of oil and agricultural products hit rock bottom in the Reich Pact, which has been Romania's main trading partner. Unemployment soared sky high in a fortnight. No one make a joke of that, please. And our largest bank is on the precipice of collapse. While most non-signalist countries simply have to endure this collapse, our government holds a significant control over the economical system. Should we desire to, we could obtain the assets of crashed German corporations quite cheaply and nationalize the refinery industry, saving thousands of Romanian jobs in the process. This might not be a popular move in Berlin, however, but would send a strong message about Codreanu's government and its dedication to the well-being of all Romanians. Well, let's continue with nationalization, but let's play the corporations a little bit. Now, they're still pissed off at us, but following our nationalization of the German oil industries, our relations with the Germans have been at the cracking point. Finally, Berlin has announced very high tariffs on all Romanian goods entering Middle European markets, effectively shutting us off from their economic area. While this does give us the economic freedom we've been looking for, it's a horrible shock to our already strained exports industry. We have to find new markets quickly to save our economy. Well, we can go alone then. Let's go ahead. Let's organize some relief efforts. The economic crash is one of the last things we needed at the present moment, but fortunately we have been blessed with fertile soil. It may impact us for a while, but we can withhold some of the grain that was to be exported and make sure our people don't starve. Recording. Apologies for that. Go ahead. Do that. I gotta go ahead and put that thing back in front of my door and make sure no one. Sorry, it worked out. On pause. There we go. All my homies hate Middle Europa. True. Very true. Pius has been elected as a new pope. Now the Ottomans got their tree recently, which is pretty neat. They want social liberals, which is interesting. Oh, there goes Mustafa Kemal. Oh no. Interesting. Which ideology is Pius again? Let me check. I think Padot? Yeah, Padot. Games are cursing with Kaiserreich elements. Germany needs to be buffed. France barely gets to Strasbourg if they're lucky. Yeah, I'm not a... Oh, Russia doesn't seem to be doing too well. Oh, the Russian Socialist Republic's doing well. The Russian Republic, not so much. Let's see. Well, even though we have alleviated the effects of economic recession quite effectively, there's still huge numbers of unemployed in Romania. The government's proposed state funding of relief works in Iron Guard administrated labor camps, whilst the king wishes to support private industrials to provide relief jobs. Well, the first option would be assured to cure the unemployment. The proponents of the king's policy argue it would be only temporary measures, which do not benefit the economy as a whole. Now, I think economic recovery needs the private sector, so let's go ahead and go with that. We're going to have to do one of these first, I think. Let's go ahead and safeguard the banking sector first. Allowing the credit sector to crumble would only lead to a worse economic crisis, as the farmers would be unable to get their money back or pay back their loans, and businesses would fare even worse. The banking sector must be kept afloat so we can have a reserve of money for future projects. I haven't played Kaiserreich in a fair while, so I don't know how the AI dynamic works, so I don't exactly know who's going to do well. If it is going to be stomping by the Reich and the Entente, or if it'll be something else entirely. Just have to wait and see. But all I do know is that we can go ahead. Do you want to do something here? Let's go ahead and fund Maglavit Monastery. Ever since the 1935 Divine Apparition, Maglavit has been a popular pilgrimage site amongst Romanians. By tapping into this influx of faith, we can increase our standing amongst the faithful. Immediately following the Declaration of Independence in Parliament by Mikhail Kogalnicianu on the 9th of May, the 10th of May, as bore witness not just his adoption by then Dom Carol I, but also to the arrival of the same Carol in Romania in 1866 and his acclamation as Dom, as well as the coronation of Carol I as king in 1881, Romania thus becoming a kingdom. Thus, laden with history, the 10th of May was designated as a national day, being joyously celebrated within the kingdom to this day, in spite of a short-lived prohibition by German occupational authorities during the Weltkrieg. The year has proven to be not that different in that regard. Celebrations sweep the nation once more, with whatever divisions present within the country being temporarily buried, replaced by a common sentiment of belonging and national unity. Crowds in Bucharest attend the military parade within the capital as smaller scale parades ensue within other provincial capitals. The day continues with other cultural activity before culminating with a royal speech and fireworks displays all over the country. Long live the king, and long live Romania. Which is Ireland, the Kaiserreich is not something for the air to fuck with. Yeah. Yeah, expect the international to die very quickly, and if we're lucky, Entente Japan declare wars on Germany. We'll wait and see. We'll wait and see. In the meanwhile, we can go ahead. Let's get early mobilization. Get our economy getting into a bit more of a drive. See, Finland is doing particularly well, which you love to see it. You love to see Finland doing well. Ooh. Interesting. Okay. Legionary Workers' Council is going around his attempt to co-opt syndicalist method in supporters in his ultranationalist movement. In essence, the Corps is a corporate association of Romanian workers in a strict hierarchy, similar to the Iron Guard and intending to replace trade unions. While it claims to aim for equality of workers in factory units, it is by and large an attempt to attract more urban workers into the Legion and mobilize it as another paramilitary wing to support the movement. Let's restrain their influence. Yeah, Red Russia might actually be here to stay. They're doing very well. Or at the very least, Finland, or at the very least, they're really waiting to kick it on full drive. After the bankruptcy of a large bank, Marmosh Blanc, in 1931, the government created safeguards to prevent such economic catastrophes in the future. The Superior Banking Council was created to regulate and investigate the banking sector in 1934. The institution has never been more necessary. While banks in many countries crashed hard and fast. A total collapse of the Banca de Credit Roman was prevented through the SEBC safeguards. The catastrophe that broke the backs of great international German banks left Romanian ones surprisingly unharmed. Interesting. Well, I'll do the outro real quick one time. So if you're on Twitch, I'm not going anywhere. Don't get confused. But thank you so much for watching, ladies and gentlemen. If you like this video, leave a like. If not, feel free to dislike. If you want to see more of this content in the future, I do lots of Hearts of Iron, do some EU4, some Civ, trying to branch out, do some different games. So if you're interested in any of those, hit the sub button, even hit the notification bell if you're feeling fancy. If you have comments, feedback, concern, check out the comment section down link below. I read all the comments to get. Appreciate any feedback you might have for me. If you want to send $5 I'm waiting for monthly at Patreon. If you want to chat play games, I have a Discord. If you wanted to see me do stuff live, I have a Twitch, all of which are down in the description box below. Thanks as always for watching, boys. My name has been Dogboat333. I'll see you guys next time. Goodbye.